Today, I've got another workshop video for you. Recently, I've uploaded a lot of videos, and I'm glad to see comments coming in. A lot of times, people comment saying they don't have the opportunity to build things at home. Now I'm going to show you a video of something I think you can build at home too. You'll only need some very basic tools and a few things you can find around the house. Of course, you'll need to do a little bit of research. I believe that anyone could build this Stirling engine in about 2 hours that you see here. The base of this Stirling engine is actually made from 3 beer cans. So in the picture, you can see I have 2 beer cans. Well, actually 3, and I'll explain why in a moment. So you'll need 2 beer cans, these aluminum bottles, a glove. If you don't have a glove like this, you can get a latex glove at the pharmacy. You also need a soda bottle cap or a cap from a juice box. One is enough, even though I put 2 in the picture, but one is in fact sufficient for what we're doing here. This one is from a full bottle. It makes your life easier, but if you don't have it, that's fine too. You'll need a small piece of tube, a thin tube. I use the cap from a WD-40 can, that's the red one. And you'll need a piece of tubing, which hopefully you can find at home in your junk drawer, or you can look around the electrical section of a supermarket. Next, you need to drill a hole in the cap. Drill a hole in the cap with the same diameter as your tube. If you have a 20 millimeter tube, you'll also need to cut a 3 centimeter piece from it. Pair this tube section with the cap and glue it all around. So use a thick glue, something that can fill in the small gaps, because when you make the hole, it won't be perfectly round, and that's where those little imperfections will come from. You need to build a membrane on this little cap, and the membrane can be made from the rubber glove we saw earlier. Make sure it's loose, not tight like a guitar string, but so that its surface is basically, you should be able to see the folds of the rubber glove on the surface. Then it's loose enough, or it can even be a bit dented in. The next part is the really fun one. You have to drink the beer from the can, and then you can start the DIY part. It's a good idea to wait a bit between the two, or drink a non-alcoholic one, so you still have your fingers at the end. So first, you need to cut the beer can. Cut off the top. This is easy. Scissors, a utility knife, a saw, anything works. You don't need to be too. We don't need to make a perfect cut. After that, grab your scissors, and with the scissors, you can cut a nice straight edge all the way around. So first, make a rough cut, and then tidy it up with the scissors, so you end up with a nice even rim. Once that's done, in my case, I'm using mineral wool, but as I said, steel wool is much easier to get. So you need a piece of steel wool, make sure it's nice and loose, tear it apart with your hands or a knife if you need to. You want a loosely structured wool, and you need to roll it up into a little ball like this. Before that, thread one of your wire pieces through the middle, and just like a cinnamon roll, roll it up here, press it together. The individual fibers really stick together well. It only takes a moment. At first, I thought when I tried this that it would take a long time, but really, you just put it on, roll it, keep rolling it around, and in no time at all, you'll have your little cinnamon roll-shaped steel wool. Wind the steel wool to a diameter that fits very comfortably into your beer can, so that it sits snugly inside, about 3 dash. And the diameter should be the beer can minus 1 centimeter. Your piston, this little piston, will mix the air inside the beer can between the cold side and the hot side. Here you can see that my little cylinder is finished, my little steel wool or copper wool shaped like a cinnamon roll, and next to it is the beer can. And here's an important part. The beer can should be about 2.5 times taller than the steel or copper wool shaped like a cinnamon roll that you made. At this point, you need another beer, because you'll need another beer can. You can see it in the picture here. You also need to cut the top off this beer can, but don't cut around the side, cut at the very top. You've done a good job if, after the previous step and this current step, you can slide these 2 beer cans into each other like this, about 2 centimeters deep. You'll need to attach the little tank you made earlier from a bottle cap onto the beer can, so you have to cut a hole in the beer can for this. Once you've glued it on, then you're basically 50% done with the work. You'll need some kind of disk. For me, this disk comes from a hard drive, but you could also use a 120 millimeter disk from a CD. You need to drill a hole about 1 millimeter in diameter. Don't make a big hole. Like I said, it should be about the diameter of a pin. The goal is for the wire, that strand I mentioned you can get from a twisted wire, to fit through this hole. Finally, you need to make an oval-shaped hole on the side. It can also be rectangular, but I think the oval is easier to cut out. So cut a hole big enough that you can comfortably fit 2 fingers into the beer can from the side. It should go roughly along the center line, perpendicular to the length of the beer can, just like you see in the picture. You need to bend this part in the middle with pliers into a U shape as shown in the picture. This section of wire should be bent to about 15 millimeters high in every direction, so that the piece you made earlier, the small disc, which as I mentioned can be made from a CD, from paper, or in my case it's from a hard drive, you stick this little disc on, and these two bends should be positioned so that they're rotated 90 degrees from each other in space. So if the bigger bend is facing downward, then the other bend should be to the side. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, in theory, 2 beer cans should be enough, but I say let's use 3. We're going to put a candle in the third can, so you'll need to cut off the top of this one as well. When you prepare the third beer can, make sure that its height is about half of the original can, and cut a hole in the side that's big enough to comfortably fit a small tea-light candle. You need to pair up the center of the Stirling engine, which in this case is the 2 beer can tops, along with the little cap and the tea light holder, which you can see at the bottom of the picture. This is a very lightweight structure. Put a washer, a piece of metal, or some kind of weight in the bottom can, so that if you lift it up, it doesn't tip over. I put 3 of these larger washers inside, but any kind of metal piece will do, just so there's a bit of weight at the bottom. You need to place your steel wool or copper wool, which you previously shaped into a cinnamon roll, into the finished structure, making sure that the copper wire stands upright and sticks out of the can. Now comes another important step. You need to pair up the 3 beer cans. Just like you see in the picture, you can see this service hole here. Now through this, you can see it. At the bottom part of the copper tube, there's the snail-shaped mineral wool, and if you turn the main shaft round and round, it will nicely lift the mineral wool, or the main shaft will lower the mineral wool. So that's the whole mechanism. It's really finished. So now let's move on to starting it up. Let's go over the key elements one more time. There should be some weight at the bottom, otherwise the whole structure will tip over very easily. I put a washer here, but you can use anything else. So in this part, this is where the mineral wool shaped like a snail is placed. As you can see, this beer can has been cut quite low. This one is a bit taller, about 2 centimeters higher, and this one is at its full height. This hole was needed so you could work inside, so you could tie this thin thread, which is here, onto the main shaft. On one end of the main shaft, here's my disc. And you've done a good job if, when you give this disc a push, it spins with a bit of resistance. That it pulls back, you see? So it lifts the top of the drum here, but when it swings over, you can see it makes a half turn on its own. Look, now it's at the bottom dead center. It's pulling the mineral wool down, and the end of this shaft is turned 90 degrees, as I mentioned before. This is an important detail. If you don't make this 90-degree turn, it won't work. If you pay attention to these things, I think it should work. It doesn't really like to go in this particular direction. I give it a gentle push, but it definitely prefers to go in this other direction instead. It almost started moving on its own, all by itself. It was running a bit rough earlier, not quite as smooth as I'd hoped. And here you can clearly see the end of the crankshaft, which basically connects directly to that thin wire that pulls and pushes the steel wool below. The Winchester's disc, which spins round and round in a continuous, mesmerizing motion. I say, let's heat this device a bit more, just a little extra, and see what it can do with a little extra heat applied. And here, I think this device will work much faster, and it spins much quicker than if it were just running on the mages alone. You can see, now with more heat, it started moving faster, picking up speed. Something's smoking here, but don't worry about that. It's just a normal part of the process, and I'm not going to worry about it right now, since there's nothing urgent that needs my attention at the moment. So that's how the device works for now. I'll turn it a bit in this direction to demonstrate, and then move it like this, so you can see how it operates from different angles.